We are going to have a good time today. I've got a lot of really cool stuff that I want to go over with you guys. And so what we're doing here on Thursdays is it's kind of an e-commerce thing, but it's not e-commerce in the traditional sense. For example, we're not talking about having 1,000 products that you display in a grid that you add to a cart and that kind of thing. What we're doing is we're talking about different ways that you can generate new revenue streams for yourself, new revenue streams for your clients, and collect payments and the whole thing, so that you're delivering a return on investment for the work that your clients are hiring you for. It's not just building a website, but you're actually helping them generate more revenue. And a really cool thing that you can do for that is helping people collect payments online in a variety of ways. And that's what we're going to talk about today and in the future as well. But today it's all about paying for scheduling a calendar event. So do you have any clients where they charge money to do something at a particular date? Like, for example, photographers. In fact, one of the reasons this is on my mind is my daughter is kind of starting up her photography business, and like people pay for her events, right? Like, so you schedule a session, like a photo shoot. And so we're going to go through a couple of things. So it's going to be, how do you connect all this stuff up to your Google Calendar? How can you get your website to kind of be your booking agent for you? All the way down through collecting payments, giving people information about how to prepare for the event when they show up, getting people tied into your email list, collecting payments with a couple of different payment gateways at the same time. So, PayPal or a credit card, whichever it works best for your client, they can do that. And then optionally having all of that stuff tied into like a client portal, like a page on your website that's private just for them. So you can share information back and forth, like in the context of a photo shoot. Maybe you share some pictures from the shoot, or if it's something else, then you can have it like a page, like a private page that's just for you and them to share information about, the project that you guys are working on together. So that's a lot of cool stuff to cover, but we're going to go through how to do that really simply and easily, and it's not going to take very much time. And we're going to be using Cart66. So Cart66 is our e-commerce platform, the one that I founded with my friend Joey like 12 years ago. And so we're going to be going into that. We're not going to go into WooCommerce. And again, as a huge disclaimer, there's always tons of different ways to kind of accomplish the same thing, right? So I'm not saying that what I'm about to show you is the only way you could possibly do this. I'm just saying I think it's the easiest, fastest, and probably the coolest way. So it's certainly my favorite way, but of course, I also built the platform, which means it really caters to my needs and interests. So that's what we're going to be talking about. How do you get people to pay you or pay your client to schedule an event with them? And so here's what it basically will look like. So there's a couple of different services that you can use for calendaring and booking events that tie into like your Google Calendar, or if you do a calendar in other ways, like on iCloud or something, it can all tie into that too. So obviously I'm not going to give you a tutorial on how to use Google Calendar or anything like that. And we're not really going to dive too deep into the different tools that connect with it. I'm just going to mention a few names. So here is a solution that I think works really, really well. So get your client set up with Google Calendar in some way, which means maybe they already have a Gmail address and they kind of could already have access to Google's Calendar or whatever. Maybe they're already using it. If they're not, if you're just setting up somebody from scratch, then get them hooked up with G Suite so that you can use like their own domain for their email, for their calendar, for Google Docs, maybe a YouTube channel that they might want in the future. All of that stuff, get them set up on the Google platform, which is going to give you access to Google Calendar. And the reason that I suggest Google Calendar over iCloud is because there's more stuff that integrates with Google Calendar than does with iCloud. Although if they're already on iCloud, you can use that too. So that's the calendar aspect of it. And the reason you want a calendar there is so that your client can have other things going on, like multiple bookings where they're not overlapping, or if they've got to go out to some other appointment or whatever, and they're not available for a particular time. As long as they put what they're doing on their calendar, then you can integrate with that in such a way that the time slots are either available or not available without revealing the details of where they're going. Like say if they're going to their kid's birthday party or something like that, they don't have to say I'm going to a birthday party. It just means the time slots aren't available. So set up the calendar, and then go over and get connected up with, I use Schedule Once, but you could use Calendly. Schedule Once just went through like this rebrand, and now they're called Once Hub because they have their Schedule Once stuff, but then they also have other things that they do too. But I think Schedule Once is a really slick calendar app. It's really great for managing your availability and your time slots and things like that. So, pick one of those two solutions, because that enables you to get a calendar on the website. So I'm using Schedule Once here, and let me show you what it looks like. I'm going to flip over and share my screen here. So this is basically what it looks like. I'm using it for DoubleStack. I use it for other stuff too. But for DoubleStack, you basically schedule appointments to talk. And so like if this is something you want to talk about, or you want to talk about, winning new clients or building your business and marketing and things like that, then I offer free like breakthrough sessions is what I call them, where people can schedule a time to talk. And the way that I manage all of that is through, I have Google Calendar, which kind of keeps my calendar straight. And then I connect Schedule Once to it. And then when you go to schedule a call, you get a page like this, and you can pick your time zone. Then you can click on through to continue. And then, Schedule Once kind of figures out what the available time slots are. And I've kind of got a pretty busy schedule, so only have one last time slot today. And you can just kind of got a couple of time slots tomorrow. Here's what Monday looks like. And you can schedule different amounts of time into the future. Like I have 3 days here, but you could schedule it out for 30 days if you wanted to, whatever you want. But the point here is this enables somebody to pick a time slot that's available to you and also convenient for them. And then they can just kind of go through the process of scheduling a time. And then what will happen, either on Calendly or Schedule Once, both platforms have the same functionality. Once the appointment gets booked, then you have the setting in the app itself where you can say, well, once everything is confirmed and booked and everything's kind of on the calendar, where do I redirect to? And like a thank you page or a confirmation page or something like that. And that is where you're going to want to put a really special, a buy now link, basically. So let's go into Cart 66. And so here's the story. The story that we're kind of implementing is you're working with say you're working with somebody who is a photographer, and the photographer wants to book sessions for their photo shoots. And the photo shoots, maybe she has a particular set of days and times within those days when those shoots are available. So that's where the calendar comes in. But you also have a couple of different kinds of photo shoots that you do. Like maybe you do senior pictures, maybe you do whatever. So let's just say we're booking sessions for senior pictures. And so when you send somebody to that calendar, because in Schedule Once, you can have bookings for different types of events. And let's just say this particular booking is a senior picture booking event. So you have that, and then go into Cart 66 and create a product for whatever you want to charge for the senior booking, right? Or for the senior pictures. So I've created this senior portraits product right here. The way I did it, I just clicked on the add product button. Oh wait, let me start sharing my screen again so you can see that. So so I just went into Cart 66, I clicked on the add product button here, and then I created the senior portraits product right here. And so what that looks like is this. So if I've kind of already created it, so you don't have to watch me type all the stuff into it. But I just named the product Senior Portraits. I gave it a SKU of senior here. And let's say we're charging $495 for it. And that's for the shooting and some pictures or whatever it might be. And then I kind of tweaked the settings a little bit. So down here for cart quantity, I said you can only have a maximum of one of these in your cart at a time, because you wouldn't want someone to inadvertently add a couple of different shootings all for the same thing, because they scheduled one appointment, you only want them to pay one time for it. And so you can force Cart 66 not to allow multiple instances of a product in a cart. And this is a good example of one time when you might want that, because you just want them to pay for just that one thing. So do that. But then there's some other really cool stuff that's going on, because this is going to go far beyond just paying for the booking. We're going to do a lot of other stuff like we just talked about in the beginning. So let's talk about some of those other things. So the first thing that we did was we set the price. So now you're actually collecting the money for it. But let's also take a look at this Files tab, because one of the things that I did is I created this Preparing for Your Session PDF. And so, prior to when we started talking today, I just went and I created a PDF, and in the PDF, it's got, just some information about how to prepare your hair and what clothes to wear, and, just different tips to have a successful photo shoot, so that the client kind of knows what to expect and what to wear and what to do. And, everything is really set up for success because of some extra information. And it could be other things too, right? It could be you could provide a video, you could be any sort of digital file that you wanted. So the person's not buying a digital file, you're just including a digital file as part of the order so that they have access to being able to be prepared for the right session. So the way that worked was I went into this files tab here. This is a list of all the different files I have in my Cart66 account. And this one right here is preparing for your session. So you can name the actual display name of the file different from the file name itself. So you have that capability, and you can upload as many different files as you want. And when you do that, it just goes into Amazon S3, and it's we kind of store that file securely, so you don't have to worry about how to do all that on your WordPress site or anything like that, and worry about people kind of directly linking into it. But back on the product side of things, that's a really cool thing. So when you look at the files, you can have this is an example of how you can include an actual digital file along with the order, so that when somebody places the order, they not only pay for the scheduled event, but they also get some extra stuff. So that's a really cool thing as well. The next thing I wanted to show you is this Mad Mimi tab. So this is I strongly suggest that you help your clients build an email list. And so I've already configured Mad Mimi to be connected to this account. And so all I have to do is turn it on for this product. So I just click that button there. And now what's happening is it's pulling in all of the different lists that I have available in Mad Mimi. Let me show you what the Mad Mimi account looks like. This is just a demo account. And so I've got all these different lists here. And this one right here, Senior Picks, that's the one that I've set up for this particular product. So what I want to do is back here in Cart66. So basically what lists are, you have this thing called all contacts, and that's all the contacts that you have access to, regardless of how they signed up for your mailing list or for Mad Mimi or whatever. So like whatever web forms or whatever, however you add people into the mix, everybody is kind of combined into this all contacts list here. And I just have like demo email addresses here. This is just a test account. And then you can go ahead and create other lists, which are sort of like a subset of your all contacts. And so somebody buys the Beverly watch that we were talking about before, put them in that category. But what we've done here is we've set up a list specifically for people who purchase senior pictures. And we also have a customers list. So what we want to do over here in Cart66 is when somebody buys the senior portraits product, so to speak, like when somebody schedules an event or schedules a session to have their senior portraits taken, we want to add them to the customer list because now they're customers. We want to add them to the senior pictures list because you might want to email everybody who had senior pictures, and maybe at a graduation date when that comes around, email everybody again and say, hey, do you want to let your family know that you've got these pictures or whatever. Or maybe there's some other reason. Maybe there's some other promotion that you want to offer to people that have done senior pictures before. And so you just want to make sure that you kind of keep track of who's done what. And then maybe you want to remove them from your leads list. Like say you've got, something going on with regard to email, where people are signing up to learn more about your services and what you can do when they're on your leads list, which means you have their email address, but they haven't paid you or bought anything. They're not like an actual customer. So that's how this works. And so you just go ahead and you can remove anybody from any particular list and add people to any list when they purchase a product at this transactional moment. And so that's what's happening here. And this is really, really, really powerful. This is otherwise somewhat complicated to do. Again, not impossible. You can do it in other ways. But look how easy it is. You just click the lists and then click save. And then that's what you've got. You've got, when a customer buys the senior portraits product, they're added to the customer list, they're added to the senior picks list. You remove them from leads if they were there. If they weren't there already, then nothing happens. But that way you really have a clear picture of what's going on with regard to your email list and your contacts. And if you're wondering about Mad Mimi, why are we talking about Mad Mimi? The reason for that is because it's so simple and easy to use. It's like way less than half the price of MailChimp, and your workflow is so fast. And all of the e-commerce information about like when people buy certain things and what happens and all that stuff, that's provided by Cart66. So you don't need all of that extra functionality. And of course, there's probably ways that you could outgrow Mad Mimi, but I think there's so much potential in this particular platform. And again, it's not the only platform that I've ever used or anything like that. I've used tons of platforms, but the reason that we have this particular one tied into Cart66 is because what we really needed was a way to organize email addresses and send emails. And that's what That's what Mad Mimi is awesome for. You can also set up like drip campaigns where like based on a particular list, you email people out a sequence of emails. So you don't have to spend gobs and gobs of money for a super expensive email marketing platform if you want to send out drip campaigns or email automations. You can also do things where when people click on certain lists, they get another drip. So that's the link to list feature, which is super powerful. And all of that is sitting right there, and you can literally learn it in an afternoon. And so that's why this is all built in. There's cost savings, there's time savings. It's slick. So anyway, so that's what happens when you add people into these different lists. So now you can do all kinds of awesome email marketing, including following up with people about buying portraits and stuff like that after the session. So now we have that aspect of things into the mix. So quick summary: we've set up a product, we've set the price. We've made it so that you can only put one in the cart at a time, just in case, just to make sure people don't accidentally have, multiple sessions for one booking. We went ahead and added a file so that in addition to purchasing the session, they can actually download a file to kind of give them more instructions of what to expect and what to wear and how to do your hair and all that kind of stuff to be, ready for the photo shoot. We added people into our email lists so that we have customers and senior picks, or your contacts can be added to both of those lists. And then there's payments. So then we want to actually be able to make the payment. So let's take a quick look at the payment gateways so that you can see how that works. So you click over here and you can go into payment gateways. And with Card66, you can enable multiple gateways all at the same time. And what we have here is we've got offline payments. So like somebody's going to hand you a check. We have Stripe so that you can handle credit card payments. And then we have PayPal Express only so that if somebody does want to pay with a PayPal account, they can do that too. And all of three options are available on the checkout page. And it's all kind of just included right here. You don't have to buy anything extra for this to all happen. It's all just part of the package, which makes it really nice. You don't have to buy all these different plugins and mash them all up together. It's just all sitting there ready to go. So that's really cool. So that's what we've got with regard to the payments. So then let's take a look at what actually happens. So here's the whole flow. What will happen is let's go back to the products. The thing that you're really looking for is, you don't even have to dive into the Senior Pictures product itself. You can go to this Quick Actions tab, click on that, and get this thing called Generate Buy Now link. And that's going to pull up this link right here. And what you want to do is you want to copy this link and then put this link into the redirect setting for Schedule Once, so that after somebody schedules an event and they confirm it and it's all booked in the calendar and everything, and Schedule Once is like done with that process, then they'll redirect to this calendar booking. And then what you can do is, I'll just show you what happens. So when people go there, then it just redirects right to your checkout page, and it's obviously it's secure and PCI compliant and everything like that. But it's got the senior portraits thing in the mix, so that's in the cart. You don't have to. Nobody has to add anything manually to the cart or anything like that. You're collecting the contact information, billing address. Here are those three payment methods, all sitting right there: credit card, PayPal, pay later. And again, you don't have to do all three. You can do one or two or three. All of that's configurable. The client can make any notes. If you want someone to join like your newsletter in addition to the other Mad Mimi list, you can have that as well as an option. Just wanted to show that. You can have terms and conditions if you want people to have to agree to certain terms, and then they can place the order. And so when that happens, when somebody places an order, what that means is you've got all that contact information that you need to be able to follow up with your client and know who they are and what they're doing and all that cool stuff. It's all packed in there for you. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring this out, because I know that Calendly has an option for you to just kind of take payments with Stripe and things like that during the booking, but it doesn't do it the way that we're talking about here. Like you don't really have a really easy way to connect in with an email marketing platform and adding people to particular lists. There's not a very easy way to get people that extra information, like that PDF that kind of shows people how to get prepared and things like that for the session. And you're not really collecting all of this contact information either. So like, especially in the context of a photo shoot, you're going to want to probably mail stuff to people, like in the actual mail, like pictures. Like when you get the prints ready, you might want to send them the actual stuff. So you want to make sure you're collecting all that. And this is a great way to do all of that. So then there's one last thing that I wanted to point out. Suppose you wanted to have a private page on your site where you kind of show people the pictures or whatever before they buy them or something like that. One thing that you can do, if you go over to Senior Portraits and you add membership and you just turn on, let's say, just like a lifetime membership. So the thing about memberships and subscriptions is this is all just baked right into Cart66, meaning that if you want to sell a membership product, which means they get access to content on your site and things like that, or you want to sell a subscription, which means you charge people month to month or whatever, you can do it. And it's literally one click. You can do monthly subscription, yearly subscription, or you can kind of, make your own custom recipe for how often you want to bill people. But what we're going to do here is we're going to set this up as a membership, because we're not really going to be billing people on a recurring basis, but we do want people to have an actual account where they can use their email address and a password to log in. And let's just make it a lifetime membership. Boom, there we go, one click done. So with that one click, what will happen now is when somebody's buying this product, then you'll get, not this product, let's go back to the checkout page. What you'll get is, instead of having the create account optional, it will be kind of mandatory that people create an account because they have a membership. So we want to make sure that they set up a password. So now that create account optional button is gone and you do have to make a password. So then what you can do is, for your WordPress site, you can have the sign-in page, which is not the same thing as signing into the WordPress admin. What you want people to do is enter in their email address and password that they created when they purchased the Senior Portraits thing. Then they can just sign into that. And now they're on a private page of your WordPress website that you can sign in and sign out with this little link right here. And so what I did was I just assumed that I was my own client, right? So Lee Blue, that's me. I'm the client. And then I just said, well, here are all the different pictures we took. And I just duplicated the same one over and over just to save time. But, you can have little hover effects, or you can, have people check out what's going on. And it's literally a private page just for you and your client to access on your website. So now you have like this little private members area just for the two of you guys. And it's super simple to set up. It's all tied together with that order that just got placed. And I'll show you how to do it later if you're interested. But to keep this video at a reasonable length, the idea here is that simply by using the email address and password, you can then tell your WordPress site, only allow that one person to have access to this one page. And it's all tied into the fact that that Senior Portraits thing was a membership product, which then gave them access to this page. So that's a really cool situation, because now you've got this really neat, complete workflow with all of that stuff in the mix. And so you've got the ability to sell the product, which is the Senior Portraits. You've got people booked on your Google Calendar. You've got the websites actually handling all of that for you, including conflict resolution. Like if you're going somewhere else and you're not available, the combination of Google Calendar and Schedule Once can manage all of that for you, so you don't have to be even on the phone. You can just say, hey, pick a time that works for you, and your calendar's out there. So that saves a ton of time. So that's going to streamline your client's workflow. You're bringing in extra money for them. That's awesome too. You're giving them a private page to even interact with their clients on, and everything is all just dialed in right there. And not only that, but you've got all their contact information for mailing them stuff if you want to later, and you are putting them into your email marketing platform so you can stay engaged. You can keep up. So what if they want Christmas pictures next or whatever, something like that. Keep following up, and you've got that ongoing relationship. And I think that's fantastic. And we did the whole thing, like the whole process we talked about in like 20 minutes. So it's really cool. So I just wanted to bring that out there, let you see how that works, because I think that you would find if you wanted to set up a workflow like this in some other way, you could certainly do it, but it's just more complicated, more pieces, more stuff in the mix. Whereas here you are, you got your WordPress site, your Cart66 account, your Google account, and Schedule Once, and Shazam. You've got a really, really powerful system. And I think it's probably even better. It's the best system that I know about, because first of all, Schedule Once or Calendly, that's a really powerful way to manage your calendar, which I think is better than trying to somehow integrate your actual WordPress site itself with a plugin or something to the calendar. There's a lot of ways to manage availability in those platforms. And so that's really cool. It's not very expensive to do, and it's going to make a really significant difference. It's like you've actually hired kind of like a secretary or something like that on behalf of your client, but it's just sitting there. It's the website. And this is exactly what you need to do in order to generate these high value, long-term relationships with your clients, because you're showing them the return on investment. And what we're going to keep doing here on our kind of e-commerce conversations that we have is just showing you more and more things that you could do to generate a return on investment for your clients that goes far above and beyond just kind of building a website and handing it over to them. And so, we're going to be looking at various ways to do online payments. We've got a lot of cool ideas in the future for that. So if this has been cool and you've enjoyed it, leave a note in the comments to let me know that you've liked this. If you have any questions about how to, kind of get all this stuff set up, then, let me know that too. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this throughout the week. And if you want, even say you want to try it out, go over to cart66.com, sign up for a free trial. It's free for 14 days. And hey, if you need more time to play with it, just let me know. I'll extend your free trial. It's no big deal. And if you want help kind of figuring out how to do all this stuff, then, we can even, get on a Zoom chat or something like that and kind of go over it together. I can hook you up with a support team or whatever, just so you can see how it all works. And I think that you're going to find that if you're in a situation where you just want to generate revenue for your clients and they have like a story type of a business, I'm not talking about like if you have 1,000 products and you want a grid and add it to the, display your products in the grid and add those things to a cart and all that stuff. Use WooCommerce for that. That's what they specialize in. I'm talking about things like what we just talked about here, scheduling, paying for scheduled events or some of the other stuff we've talked about in the past. Give it a shot, see what you think, and let me know what's going on. And if I can help in some way, let me know, and we'll dial it in together. So I had a lot of fun. I think that's a lot of fun. I love talking about this stuff. This is one of my most favorite types of topics because it's so powerful for your clients, which of course makes you feel awesome doing it. And then of course you also are able to ramp up your rates because you're not just cranking out a $200 kind of project that they could get for themselves on Upwork or something like that. You're actually bringing, real meaningful consultation to the mix, right? So like if you want to be a consultant, do some consulting. That's one of the big ideas. Don't just be an implementer. And this is one of the ways that you can do it. So loved it, guys. Awesome seeing you. And again, leave some questions or comments here in the comments section. Let me know what you think. So I will see you again on Tuesday as we jump back into more of the business development stuff that we talk about every week. Here's a high five for the weekend. Boop. I'll talk to you guys later.